Got our sunrise in this morning and had a good talk with Courtney about just ideas and things that always float around in my head. And got on the topic of celebrating small wins and what that means. I think it's very easy to talk conceptually about things, and it'll feel like fog, and it'll feel like it doesn't. Let me think this through. Sometimes we have an idea of a concept or a principle that we want to go by, but without being able to really turn it into something that we can hold and touch and see in our eyes, in our mind's eye. It just feels like an idea. And an idea without like any teeth feels almost like it's trying to capture the fog in your hand, right? So I think it is important to still have the idea, but tie it to something, even in story, tie it to something physical, give it an image, give it an identity in your brain, so that it doesn't go away. It becomes something you can hold and touch and foster your belief around. So for me, I think the small incremental steps is the most important thing in building anything. But just the very next step of that is, because we talk about, everyone takes small incremental steps, but we all know the goal is consistency, sustainability, right? And fun. And that is the one we miss out a lot on. We think a lot of times it's just consistency. It's hard work, and it's gonna suck, and it's gonna be miserable, and if you don't do this, here's all the bad things that's gonna happen. And we use that as motivators because that's an easy one for us. It's an easy motivator to say, well, I don't want that to happen, right? So I go do the thing. I don't want to be in trouble, so I'll go do my taxes. But nobody wants to do their taxes, right? And I think that isn't the sustainable pattern that we should look for. I don't think it's as sustainable. I think there are better, in my opinion, there are better sustainable patterns that we can follow than the one that says, if I don't do this, a pain will happen. And if we pattern ourselves, which I believe a lot of us, our default programming is to pattern ourselves in a way that is to run from pain. But you can achieve things two different ways: running from pain, running towards pleasure, right? So you can run from pain or you can run towards pleasure, and both can get you your objective met. But in my personal opinion, in the world, in the laws of consistency and sustainability, if you're not enjoying the process of what you're doing, just avoiding the pain isn't something that is sustainable, and definitely not the most efficient way to process that. So our pursuit should be the seeking of pleasure and running towards pleasure, running towards the things you want to do, celebration. And that gets me to my next point, and that is that both answers, both patterns have the small incremental steps part in there. However, what makes the magic happen, and I think when you think about like what is one small thing that can change, that can make the rest of the things inevitable, and that is the happiness and the pleasure, and that is making it fun. And so you'd say, how do you do that, right? Yeah, that's a cool concept, but how do you do that? You do it by celebrating every single small iterative step, every iteration. Did I say iterative? You do that by solving every single iterative step, every iteration, every step that you take, no matter how minuscule it is, no matter it's because, well, I have to do it. If I don't do it, no matter what the reason you're doing it, no matter if it's expected of you or not, no matter if it's small or not, no matter if it's insignificant to others or not, None of that matters. Is it a step? Yes. Check the box. Celebrate it. Celebrate the fuck out of it. Don't seek celebration from it. Don't seek external celebration. Internalize. Internally, you pat yourself on the back. You treat yourself. You celebrate yourself. You say a congratulatory sentence to yourself. I don't care what it is. Celebrate these small, incremental, iterative, celebrate these small, incremental iterations, these small steps, the most minuscule step. If you celebrate, and if I think about, if you celebrate every single small step that you take every single time, I think that is the one thing you can do right now that will make all the other things inevitable. That will make all your other goals, including consistency, including sustainability, including efficiency, including moving in the direction that you would like to go, it will make them inevitable and make them almost automatic. We can reshape our default programming this way. And the way we do that is by taking step one, take small incremental steps, super small, the smallest, and celebrate every single fucking one. Pat yourself on the back, congratulate yourself every single time. And if you do this, all the other things become inevitable. Consistency, efficiency, sustainability, maintaining towards your ultimate goals, they all become inevitable because you're consistent and you're having fun. And I tell parents this all the time with jiu-jitsu, stop stressing over your kids getting better. Just bring them to a good school. I think we're a good school. Your goal is to find them a good school, and then you keep them consistent and you keep them having fun. That is the only focus. If they are consistent and they have fun, by nature, formula says equal sign, they get better. That's it. Well, guess what? So too for you. If you are consistent and you have fun, by nature, by formula, it dictates equal sign, you get better. So if we know that is the formula, and we know taking the steps is that's part of the formula, and action is part of the formula, absolutely. Yes, you can't just be an inactive participant in your growth. That is obvious. We all get that part of the formula, but we don't always get the second part, and that is to have fun. And how do you have fun? You have fun by celebrating, truly, not rolling your eyes and, haha, I'm supposed to feed my kids, whatever the things are, haha, I'm supposed to pay my bills. I don't care what your judgments are on the celebration. Actually, meaningfully celebrate those wins, and you solve for the second part of the formula on that side of the equal sign. And equals, the other side's already done. It makes the other side inevitable. You get better. You achieve your goal. And so in all that, we're having this discussion. I think conceptually I can believe that, and I believe you too can. But again, it's a concept, it's a principle, it's like a fog in the air. Trying to put your fingers on it, trying to touch it and hold it and visualize it is sometimes difficult. So analogies, baby. Analogies bring us out of this. So the analogy I would give you for this is someone suffering from a traumatic incident or recovering from a massive surgery. We've had friends that have had debilitating, what do they call it? We've had friends that have had like debilitating autoimmune issues that have taken away their ability to have normal functions, eat food and take steps and walk. We've had friends that have been long-serving veterans in the military that have, had major surgeries to remove cancer from bones in their legs, and it's just insane, right? And been around those people when they've been in the hospital going through their treatment and working through their rehab so they can get released from the hospital and then continue their rehab and recovery. Well, a part of that is you got to go out and walk. You got to learn how to walk again, right? You're out there in the hospital hallways, and you took a step, and then you took another step, and all these things, and you're working your way through. Well, one of the times, and all these are perfect examples as well. However, one of the times, one of our friends were visiting him, and had to go out for his rehab in the hospital. And so he's walking through the hallway, and we're all talking and bullshitting and cutting up and making jokes and having a good time. Then he had to go to the other part of his rehab was to start working his way to walk stairs. So he goes to the stairs, and imagine a long flight of stairs, and say 20 steps deep. And you would say, well, if your goal is to get to the top, then how do you get there? You could say, well, maybe one big step to the top, maybe. All right, maybe he's a tall guy, so maybe he can skip 4 steps at a time, maybe. But he's in rehab, right? So he's still working his way towards the top. He hasn't, he's still in the journey. So then you have to ask the question, and answer for the question, what is the most efficient way this guy can get to the top of those stairs and develop his ability to walk stairs? And we all know that answer. The answer is automatic. It's one step at a time, right? Just go one step at a time. That's obvious. That consistency will get you to the top of the stairs. But what's allowing it to be consistent? What's allowing it to be sustainable? Imagine, put yourself in those shoes. You are recovering from a major surgery, right? They're removing cancerous bones from your legs, replacing them with steel rods. You are learning to walk again. You finally figured out how to walk again for just a moment. And they say, okay, well, it's time to challenge you some more. It's time to walk upstairs. And you're walking on stairs for the first time again. And it's not easy. Everything in your body is shaking. You're trying to activate muscles that haven't been activated. They're trying to work with new things. There's new linings in your body and your muscle mechanics. And it is a struggle. And everything's shaking. Everything's tough. And you get one step. Did you achieve your goal yet? Are you at the top of the stairs? No. So that can get frustrating. You're a grown man. You've walked upstairs. You've done incredible feats in your life. And you can't even get up these stairs? How debilitating does that feel? How miserable could that feel? And disheartening. And just put yourself in that person's shoes. They've been a hero for their country, serving and jumping out of fucking planes and doing things. Active duty. And the heart of war half the time, right? Very active man. And all of a sudden, you're almost brought to tears in how difficult it is for you to take a single step. Let me know how you think you process going to those steps again tomorrow or the next day to work your way up to the final to get to the top of the stairs. I'll help you out. It's not easy. It's demoralizing. It's depressing. You feel like there's no hope. It feels like you'll never get there again. And does life feel worth it? Everything you've done up to this point is almost a wash. All that hard work you worked your ass off for, and you can't even walk upstairs? How disheartening is that as a human, right? And if it stays parked in that feeling, how likely do you think it is for that man to make it up that flight of stairs? How likely do you think it is for him to even want to continue walking, living, anything? Right? We think about that and we say, well now what? What do you do? Here's what you do. He struggled and shook and barely broke into tears getting to one step. You genuinely, you authentically, and you heartfully celebrate the fuck out of that one step. Because that step, as insignificant as it sounds, is the most because that step, as insignificant as it seems, is the most significant thing in that man's life. That one step. Not the staircase. Not the lifetime. That one step. So you celebrate it. You celebrate it like it's everything. Because it is. And guess what? Based on that celebration, you tied that step to a fun moment. And all of a sudden, we just solved for the second part of the equation. Consistency plus fun. That man is walking up many flights of stairs now. He's traveling the country. He is helping other veterans. He is helping with the suicide epidemic. And I need a story like that to make the concept that I have in my brain, the principle that I'm talking about, this fog that you can't quite put in your hands and touch. I need a story like that so that it makes it real. And it makes it real for me. And I wanted to make it real for you. Take small, incremental steps. Seek zero celebration from anyone else. Internal, non-variable celebration. It's you. It's always been you. Celebrate the fuck out of your little steps. Don't let that other voice in your head or other people around you tell you that it's not worth celebrating. Tell you that you're supposed to do that, so why does that matter? You're not seeking their validation. You're not seeking even their celebration. You are seeking your own celebration, and because you know the formula. Consistency plus fun. That's it. If you can take the step and celebrate the fuck out of it, you have solved for doing the one thing today that makes everything else in your goals inevitable. It makes them automatic. They will happen. This is your formula. This is why I wake up and watch the sunrise and talk to my best friend and build on ideas and growth and understanding. This is love. Let it sit inside of you. Let me plant the seed. Let the seed be planted and let it grow. Nurture it and let it grow. Peace.